Welcome to Beyond Words Library. Long-forgotten wisdom stirs in the depths of your soul. Ancient powers, dormant for lifetimes, whisper your name. The time of remembering has come. What you are about to discover will shatter every limitation you've accepted as truth. Your awakening begins now. Introduction. The Great Remembering. There's a whisper in your soul that has never been silenced. A knowing that pulses beneath the surface of your ordinary life, reminding you that you are far more than flesh and bone. You've felt it in those quiet moments, that strange certainty that reality is not what it seems, that your consciousness extends beyond the boundaries of your skin, that dormant within you lie powers that could reshape the very fabric of existence. You weren't imagining it. You were remembering. For millennia, humanity has been systematically disconnected from its true nature. The ancient mystery schools knew what we have forgotten, that every human being is born with 9 sacred powers, 9 keys to unlock the fullness of what it means to be a conscious creator in this universe. These abilities were not myths or fantasies. They were technologies of consciousness, carefully guarded and passed down through initiatic traditions that understood the profound responsibility that comes with awakening. The Egyptians encoded these powers in their temples. The Vedic seers mapped them in their sacred texts. The Gnostics whispered of them in their hidden gospels. The Theosophists, following the footsteps of Helena Blavatsky, revealed fragments of this ancient wisdom in the Secret Doctrine, showing how consciousness operates across multiple planes of existence. But these teachings were deliberately obscured, hidden behind symbols and metaphors, because those in power knew that an awakened humanity could never be controlled. They understood that when humans remember their true nature as divine beings temporarily inhabiting physical form, the old structures of limitation crumble like sandcastles before the tide. Today, the veil between worlds grows thin. Ancient knowledge surfaces through quantum discoveries. Consciousness research validates what mystics have always known: the time of forgetting is ending. The age of remembering has begun. These 9 powers are not supernatural. They are your natural inheritance. They are not gifts for the chosen few. They are birthright abilities encoded in the very architecture of your soul. You have used them before, in moments of crisis, love, or deep stillness, though you may have dismissed these experiences as coincidence or imagination. But your soul knows better. Your soul remembers. The path ahead requires courage, for once you activate these dormant capacities, you can never return to the comfortable prison of limitation. You will see energy where others see emptiness. You will feel the thoughts of those around you. You will know things before they happen, heal with your presence, and travel beyond the confines of your physical form. This is not escape from reality. This is the recognition of what reality truly is: a malleable field of consciousness responding to the focused intention of awakened beings. Are you ready to remember who you truly are? Are you prepared to activate the 9 sacred powers that have been sleeping within you, waiting for this moment of recognition? The journey begins now. Each power will unveil itself in perfect sequence, building upon the last, until you stand fully awakened to your divine potential. But remember, with great power comes great responsibility. These gifts are not for personal aggrandizement, but for service to the highest good of all existence. Let us begin the great remembering. Your first power awaits. Chapter 1. Telepathy, the silent language of souls. Before words were invented, souls spoke directly to souls. Before language divided us into separate tribes, consciousness flowed freely between minds like rivers, converging into the ocean of universal knowing. You have felt this ancient communication in moments when someone's thoughts reached you across a crowded room, when you knew who was calling before you answered the phone, when you felt the weight of unspoken emotions hanging in the air like morning mist. This is telepathy, not the stuff of science fiction, but your birthright as a conscious being in an interconnected universe. Your brain is not a closed system generating private thoughts. It is a broadcasting station and a receiver, constantly transmitting and receiving frequencies on the subtle planes of existence. Every thought creates ripples in the field of consciousness, and every sensitive mind can learn to read these ripples like a sailor reads the wind. The ancient Atlanteans, as recorded in the esoteric traditions preserved by Madame Blavatsky, communicated primarily through mental impression. Their highly developed pineal glands functioned as organic transmitters, sending complex ideas as complete thought forms rather than the crude approximations we call words. If this was not primitive, it was evolved beyond our current capacity. In the mystery schools of Egypt, initiates were trained in the sacred art of mental communion. They understood that telepathy operates through the astral plane, where thought takes on tangible form and can be perceived by those whose consciousness has been properly attuned. The hieroglyphs themselves were attempts to encode telepathic transmissions in stone, creating permanent thought forms that could be activated by future initiates. Your modern skepticism about telepathy is precisely what keeps this power dormant. Doubt creates static in the field of consciousness, making clear reception impossible. But when you approach this ability with the reverence it deserves, as a sacred communication between divine beings, the barriers dissolve. Telepathy operates through what the Theosophists called the mental plane, a dimension of existence where thoughts exist as living entities. When you think of someone with sufficient intensity and clarity, you create a thought form that travels instantly to their location on the mental plane. If they are receptive, if their mind is still enough to perceive subtle impressions, they will receive your transmission. This explains why telepathy often works strongest between people who share deep emotional bonds. Love creates a natural bridge between minds, a highway of consciousness along which thoughts can travel freely. Fear, anger, and other intense emotions also create telepathic connections, which is why you can often sense when someone harbors negative feelings toward you. The key to strengthening your telepathic abilities lies in mental purification. Your mind must become like a still mountain lake, clear, reflective, undisturbed by the constant chatter of everyday concerns. Meditation is essential, but not just any meditation. You need practices that specifically train the mind to distinguish between self-generated thoughts and impressions received from external sources. Here's a simple activation to begin. Exercise the mind-bridge communion. Each morning, sit in stillness and bring to mind someone you care deeply about. Don't think about them. Connect with their essence. Feel their presence as if they were sitting beside you. Now, instead of forming words, transmit a feeling, pure love, gratitude, or healing energy. Hold this feeling transmission for exactly 3 minutes. Feel it flowing from your heart center to theirs. Then release completely and go about your day. Notice how often this person contacts you within 24 hours, or how you begin receiving intuitive impressions about their well-being. As you practice, you'll begin to notice the difference between telepathic reception and ordinary thought. Telepathic impressions arrive with a quality of otherness. They feel like gentle visitors in your mental space rather than products of your own mind. They often come as images, sudden knowings, or emotional impressions rather than words. Practice the art of mental listening throughout your day. Pause regularly and simply receive. Don't think, just listen with your mind. You'll be amazed how much information flows through your consciousness when you stop generating your own mental noise. Notice the subtle emotional currents that flow between you and others. Feel when someone is watching you before you look. Sense the mood of a room before anyone speaks. The ancient practitioners also understood that telepathy carries profound ethical responsibility. When you can sense the thoughts and feelings of others, you become a guardian of their inner privacy. Never use this ability to manipulate or intrude. Always approach another's consciousness with the same respect you would show when entering a sacred temple. As your telepathic sensitivity increases, you'll discover that all consciousness is ultimately one consciousness appearing as many. The boundaries between minds are illusions maintained by the ego. When these boundaries dissolve, you'll realize that telepathy is not communication between separate beings. It's the recognition of your essential unity with all existence. Your mind is no longer a cage. It is a bridge to every soul you've ever loved and every truth you've ever known. Now take a breath, because your next power is about to awaken, and it will show you that seeing is no longer limited to the eyes. Chapter 2. Clairvoyance. The sacred eye of perception. Within your forehead lies a dormant organ more powerful than any physical eye, the third eye, the eye of Horus, the lamp of the body spoken of in mystical traditions across the world. This sacred center, when awakened, grants you clairvoyant sight, the ability to perceive beyond the veil of physical matter into the luminous realm of energy, aura, and spiritual truth. You were born with this eye already functioning. As a child, you may have seen colors around people, spoken with invisible friends, or perceived things that adults dismissed as imagination. This was not fantasy. This was clear seeing, temporarily unobstructed by the filters of rational doubt that society would later install in your consciousness. Clairvoyance literally means clear seeing, and it represents your soul's natural ability to perceive reality as it truly is, a dynamic field of living energy where thoughts take form, emotions create colors, and spiritual beings move freely between dimensions. The physical correlate of the third eye is the pineal gland, a small cone-shaped organ deep within your brain. Ancient traditions recognized this gland as the seat of spiritual perception. It contains photoreceptive cells similar to those in your physical eyes, suggesting it was designed to perceive light, not ordinary light, but the subtle luminescence of the astral and mental planes. Modern research has discovered that the pineal gland produces DMT, the same compound found in powerful visionary plants used by shamans for spiritual sight. Your body naturally produces this spirit molecule, providing the biological foundation for clairvoyant perception. When you activate your third eye through proper practice, you're essentially learning to trigger natural DMT production through consciousness alone. The third eye doesn't see with the same mechanism as physical vision. It perceives through direct knowing, translating subtle energy patterns into visual impressions that your conscious mind can interpret. These impressions often appear as flashes of light, geometric patterns, symbolic images, or full clairvoyant visions, depending on your level of development. In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt and Tibet, initiates underwent specific training to open the third eye safely and progressively. They understood that this sacred sight required exceptional purity of mind and heart, because the third eye acts as a mirror, reflecting your inner state into your outer perceptions. If you carry fear, negativity, or ego-driven desires, these will distort your spiritual sight, creating false visions or attracting lower entities. As your clairvoyant abilities activate, you'll notice specific signs. Your dreams become more vivid and prophetic. You begin seeing subtle lights or shadows in your peripheral vision. Colors appear more vibrant, and you start noticing energy fields around living things. These are not hallucinations. They're the first stirrings of authentic spiritual sight. You may begin to see auras, the energy fields that surround all living beings. These appear as subtle luminous outlines or colors that reflect a person's emotional, mental, and spiritual state. With practice, you'll learn to read these energy signatures like a book, understanding someone's true nature beneath their social mask. Some clairvoyants develop the ability to see spiritual beings, guides, angels, deceased loved ones, and other entities that exist on subtle planes. Others perceive energy blockages in the human body, making them natural healers. Still others can see into probable futures or witness events occurring at distant locations. Let me guide you through an ancient practice once used in temples of initiation. Exercise the violet flame awakening. Each evening, sit in darkness with your spine straight. Close your eyes and focus on the space between your eyebrows. Visualize a small violet flame flickering in this sacred center. This flame represents the awakening fire of clairvoyant sight. Breathe slowly and deeply, allowing the flame to grow brighter with each breath. Don't force or strain. Simply hold gentle attention on this inner light. Feel the flame pulsing with ancient wisdom, connecting you to the lineage of seers who walked before you. After several minutes, ask a simple question. What do I need to see? Then remain receptive, open to whatever images, impressions, or knowings arise. Don't judge or analyze what comes. Simply observe with the curiosity of a child watching clouds form shapes in the sky. Some see geometric patterns, others receive symbolic images. Still others feel sudden knowings without visual component. All are valid expressions of awakening clairvoyant sight. Record your experiences in a journal. Over time, you'll notice patterns and increasing clarity in your inner visions. The key is consistency. Practice this meditation daily for at least 30 days to establish a strong foundation for clairvoyant development. Before each clairvoyant practice, purify your energy field through prayer, meditation, or visualization of white light surrounding you. Set clear intentions to see only truth and to serve the highest good. Remember that clairvoyance is a sacred gift meant to aid your spiritual evolution and service to others, not to satisfy curiosity or gain worldly advantage. As your third eye opens, you become a bridge between worlds, capable of bringing spiritual insight into physical reality. Use this gift with wisdom, compassion, and humility, always remembering that true sight sees the divine presence shining within all existence. You will no longer walk blind. You will walk illuminated, and with every step, you'll become the thing you used to seek, the seer. Your inner eye is stirring to life, and soon you'll discover the voice that never lies. Chapter 3. Intuition, the voice of divine wisdom. There is a voice within you that never lies, never doubts, never fears. It speaks not in words but in knowings, not in logic but in certainty. This is your intuition, the direct connection between your individual consciousness and the infinite intelligence that orchestrates the universe. It is the whisper of your higher self, the guidance of your soul, the compass that always points toward your highest path. You have heard this voice countless times. In moments of decision, you've felt a mysterious pull toward one choice over another. In times of danger, you've sensed warning before any logical reason appeared. In encounters with others, you've known their true nature beneath their social presentation. This wasn't guesswork. It was divine guidance flowing through your awakened intuitive faculty. Intuition operates beyond the limitations of rational mind. While logic analyzes the past to predict the future, intuition accesses the eternal now where all information exists simultaneously. It draws from what the mystics called the Akashic records, the cosmic library where every thought, action, and possibility is eternally preserved. Modern neuroscience has begun to validate what spiritual traditions have always taught, that intuitive knowing operates through different neural pathways than rational thought. The heart contains its own neural network, approximately 40,000 neurons, that process information independently of the brain. This heart-brain generates powerful electromagnetic fields that can detect information from the environment before the conscious mind becomes aware of it. But true intuition transcends even these remarkable biological mechanisms. It operates through your connection to what Plato called the nous, the divine mind that contains all knowledge. When your personal consciousness aligns with this universal intelligence, you gain access to information that exists beyond the boundaries of time, space, and individual experience. In the teachings of ancient Egypt, preserved in the emerald tablets and hieroglyphic texts, intuition was recognized as the voice of Thoth, the god of wisdom and divine knowledge. The initiated priests developed elaborate practices to distinguish between the whispers of divine guidance and the chatter of lower consciousness. They understood that in the silence between thoughts, the eternal speaks. Intuition speaks through multiple channels, and learning to recognize its various forms is essential for awakening this power. Some people receive intuitive guidance as sudden insights, flashes of understanding that arrive complete and undeniable. Others feel it as physical sensations, a lightness when considering the right path, a heaviness when contemplating wrong choices. Emotional intuition manifests as immediate likes or dislikes that have no logical basis but prove remarkably accurate. You meet someone and instantly feel either trust or worriness. You consider a job opportunity and feel either excitement or dread. These feelings are your soul's immediate assessment of energetic compatibility. Visual intuition appears as internal images, symbols, or scenes that provide guidance. Auditory intuition comes as an inner voice, often distinguished from ordinary thought by its clarity, brevity, and loving tone. Some people receive intuitive guidance through dreams, synchronicities, or repeated encounters with meaningful symbols. The greatest challenge in developing intuition is learning to distinguish authentic guidance from the chatter of ego, fear, and desire. True intuition has distinctive qualities. It arrives peacefully, without emotional charge. It feels loving and wise rather than urgent or demanding. It often suggests actions that serve growth rather than comfort. Ego-driven thoughts, by contrast, are usually charged with emotion, either fearful warnings or grandiose promises. They tend to serve self-interest rather than the highest good. Fear-based mental noise creates urgency and anxiety, while true intuition brings clarity and peace, even when it suggests challenging actions. Here's how to establish direct communication with your higher wisdom. Exercise the oracle chamber practice. Create a sacred space in your home where you can practice developing intuitive guidance. This becomes your personal oracle chamber, a place where you commune with higher wisdom. Include elements that inspire reverence, candles, crystals, sacred images, or any objects that help you connect with the divine. Each morning, sit in this space and pose a genuine question to your higher self. Not a trivial inquiry, but something meaningful about your path, relationships, or spiritual growth. Phrase your question clearly. Then enter a state of receptive listening. Place your hand over your heart and feel its steady rhythm. This grounds you in the wisdom center of your being. Don't think about the answer, feel for it. Notice what arises in your body, your emotions, your imagination. The first impression is usually the truest. Does your body open or close when considering different options? Do you feel expansion or contraction? Note the subtle sensations that guide you toward truth. Record these guidance sessions in a journal and track their accuracy over time. You'll be amazed how often your initial intuitive responses prove correct. Begin with small decisions and gradually work up to more significant choices as your confidence grows. Desire can be the most deceptive masquerader of intuition. Learn to distinguish between what you want to hear and what you need to know. True guidance sometimes points in directions that initially seem undesirable, but ultimately lead to your highest fulfillment. As your intuitive abilities strengthen, you'll discover that this guidance always leads toward love, truth, and service. Your higher self cannot guide you toward anything that would harm others or diminish your spiritual growth. If you receive an intuitive impulse that serves only your ego or causes suffering, you can be certain it's not authentic guidance. This built-in moral compass makes intuition absolutely trustworthy once you learn to recognize its authentic voice. Your soul is incapable of deception because it exists in unity with divine truth. When you align with this highest aspect of yourself, you become a clear channel for wisdom that serves not only your own evolution, but the welfare of all existence. The mind analyzes, but the soul knows. And now, with your inner compass awakened, you are ready to remember the next power, one that reveals you are not just thought, but a force strong enough to bend matter itself. Chapter 4. Telekinesis. The mind that commands matter. You have been taught to believe that your thoughts exist only inside your head, invisible and powerless to affect the physical world. But this is one of the greatest deceptions ever perpetrated upon humanity. Your consciousness is not trapped within your skull. It extends far beyond your body, creating fields of influence that can reshape matter itself. Telekinesis, the ability to move objects through mental power alone, represents your direct connection to the fundamental truth that all existence is consciousness temporarily organized into the appearance of matter. When you truly understand this principle, you realize that moving objects with your mind is not supernatural. It is the natural result of consciousness remembering its dominion over the material realm. Every great spiritual tradition has recorded instances of masters demonstrating telekinetic abilities. Jesus walking on water, Buddha manifesting food, Hindu yogists levitating in meditation, Taoist immortals moving through solid matter. These were not miracles in the sense of violations of natural law. They were demonstrations of higher natural laws that govern the interaction between consciousness and form. Modern quantum physics has confirmed what ancient mystics always knew: matter is not solid. At the subatomic level, everything consists of energy vibrating at different frequencies. What you perceive as a solid table is actually billions of atoms held together by electromagnetic forces, with more empty space than actual particles. Even more remarkably, quantum experiments have demonstrated that consciousness affects matter at the most fundamental level. The mere act of observation changes the behavior of subatomic particles, suggesting that awareness itself is a creative force in the universe. This is the scientific foundation for telekinetic phenomena, consciousness directly influencing the quantum field that underlies all physical reality. Your thoughts are not ephemeral wisps. They are actual energy patterns that create disturbances in the quantum field. When these thought patterns achieve sufficient coherence and intensity, they can influence the behavior of matter in measurable ways. This is the mechanism behind all mind over matter phenomena. In the classical yoga system described by Patanjali, telekinesis is classified as one of the siddhis, supernatural powers that naturally arise as consciousness evolves toward enlightenment. These abilities are not the goal of spiritual practice, but natural byproducts of a mind that has achieved perfect one-pointedness and freedom from limiting beliefs. The ancient Egyptian priests understood this principle well. In the secret chambers beneath the pyramids, initiates were taught to work with what they called the K, the energetic double of the physical body. Through specific breathing techniques, visualizations, and mental disciplines, they learned to extend their Ka beyond the boundaries of flesh, allowing them to influence objects at a distance. The key to developing telekinetic ability lies in what the yogis call dharana, sustained concentration without mental fluctuation. Most people's thoughts are scattered like leaves in the wind, lacking the focused intensity needed to affect matter. But when the mind achieves laser-like concentration combined with absolute certainty, it becomes a tool capable of reshaping reality. This process requires more than mere belief. It demands complete knowingness. You must transcend the intellectual understanding that mind affects matter and achieve the direct realization that mind is matter. When this shift in consciousness occurs, moving objects becomes as natural as moving your own arm. Before attempting to move external objects, you must first learn to perceive and control your own energy field. This field extends several feet beyond your physical body and serves as the medium through which telekinetic influence travels. Practice this visualization daily. See your body surrounded by a luminous energy field that expands and contracts with your breathing. With each inhalation, feel this field growing larger and more luminous. With each exhalation, see it becoming more dense and concentrated. Now I'll guide you through a practice used by initiates in ancient mystery schools. Exercise the feather communion. Begin your telekinetic training with the lightest possible object, a single feather. Place it on a smooth surface in a room free from air currents. Sit comfortably facing the feather and enter a state of deep meditation. Instead of trying to move the feather, commune with it. Recognize that both you and the feather are expressions of the same universal consciousness. Feel your energy field expanding to encompass the feather until the boundary between observer and observed dissolves. Now, with the gentlest possible intention, invite the feather to move. Don't force or strain. Simply maintain unwavering focus while holding the quiet certainty that movement will occur. Imagine invisible hands of energy extending from your consciousness to gently touch and guide the feather. The more real this visualization becomes to you, the more real effects you'll begin to produce. Approach this practice with the patience of a gardener waiting for seeds to sprout. Some may see results immediately, others may need weeks or months of daily practice. The key is consistency and emotional neutrality. Excitement or frustration creates mental turbulence that interferes with the subtle forces involved. Approach each session with scientific curiosity and spiritual reverence. As your abilities develop, you may find that objects begin responding to your focused attention in subtle ways. A candle flame may flicker when you concentrate on it. A compass needle might twitch when you direct energy toward it. Small objects may shift slightly during your practice sessions. These are signs that your consciousness is beginning to affect the physical world. As your telekinetic abilities develop, you must wrestle with profound questions of responsibility and purpose. The power to influence matter through consciousness carries the potential for both great good and great harm. Ancient traditions always emphasize that such abilities should never be used for personal gain, entertainment, or to manipulate others. True telekinetic power arises only in consciousness that has transcended the ego's desire for control. Paradoxically, you can only master matter when you no longer crave mastery. You can only move objects when you're completely unattached to whether they move or not. Use any telekinetic abilities that develop as a reminder of your true nature as consciousness itself. Let them inspire deeper spiritual practice rather than feeding spiritual pride. Remember that the ultimate goal is not to control the external world, but to realize your identity as the source from which all worlds emerge. The mind that moves matter is not the loudest. It is the most still. And now that you remember this, let's move to a deeper power, one that transcends space and time. Chapter 5. Precognition. Remembering the future. Time is not the linear progression you've been taught to believe. It is not a river flowing from past to future, carrying you helplessly along its current. Time is an ocean, vast, multidimensional, and accessible from any point if you know how to navigate its depths. Your consciousness exists in this ocean, capable of perceiving not only what was and what is, but what wants to become. Precognition, the ability to perceive future events before they occur, is one of your most practical spiritual gifts. It operates on the understanding that all possibilities exist simultaneously in the quantum field of potential, and your expanded consciousness can access these probability streams before they crystallize into physical reality. You have already experienced precognitive awareness more often than you realize. Dreams that later came true, sudden warnings that prevented accidents, inexplicable feelings about people or situations that proved accurate. These were not coincidences, but glimpses of your soul's natural ability to navigate the streams of time. In the mystical traditions, particularly in the teachings preserved through theosophy, time is understood to exist on multiple planes simultaneously. On the physical plane, time appears linear, one moment following another in orderly sequence. But on the astral and mental planes, all moments exist in eternal simultaneity, accessible to consciousness that has learned to transcend the limitations of three-dimensional awareness. Your higher self, the aspect of your consciousness that exists beyond the confines of linear time, already knows the most probable outcomes of your current choices and circumstances. Precognitive experiences occur when your everyday awareness momentarily connects with this higher knowing, receiving information about future probabilities. This explains why precognitive visions are not always literally accurate. You're not seeing fixed events, but probable outcomes based on current energetic momentum. These probabilities can shift based on changes in consciousness, choice, and circumstance. Your awareness of a potential future can itself alter that future, creating what mystics call the prophecy paradox. The ancient oracles of Delphi understood this principle. Their prophetic visions were not predictions of inevitable fate, but warnings and guidance about the most likely outcomes of current actions. They served as spiritual counselors, helping people understand the consequences of their choices and adjust their paths accordingly. Sleep provides the most accessible doorway to precognitive awareness. During deep sleep, your consciousness naturally separates from the physical body and travels to dimensions where linear time does not exist. In these realms, your soul can observe the energetic patterns that will later manifest as physical events. Most prophetic dreams occur during the hours just before awakening, when consciousness is returning from its nocturnal journeys and can most easily retain memories of what it has seen. These dreams often have a distinctive quality, more vivid, more emotionally charged, and more memorable than ordinary dreams. Here's how to prepare yourself for receiving prophetic visions. Exercise the dream mirror ritual. Transform your bedroom into a sacred space for receiving prophetic dreams. Before sleep, perform this ritual. Light a white candle and some frankincense incense. Sit quietly and invoke protection from your spiritual guides. State clearly your intention to receive guidance about the future through your dreams. Place a dream journal and pen beside your bed. Keep them within easy reach so you can write immediately upon awakening. Set the intention to remember your dreams, even if you normally don't recall them. Often, the simple act of asking to remember will begin activating your dream recall abilities. Upon awakening, even in the middle of the night, immediately record any dream fragments you remember, no matter how trivial they seem. Don't analyze or judge, simply capture the images, emotions, and impressions before they fade. Pay special attention to dreams involving people, unfamiliar locations, or scenarios that evoke strong emotions. Over time, you'll begin to recognize the symbolic language through which your precognitive awareness communicates. Dreams of water often relate to emotional events. Dreams of flying may predict spiritual breakthroughs. Dreams of departed loved ones sometimes carry important messages about future family matters. While dreams provide the most common access to future knowing, precognitive awareness can also emerge during waking consciousness through meditation, sudden insights, or what researchers call spontaneous precognitive experiences. These waking precognitions often manifest as sudden, inexplicable certainty about future events, physical sensations that precede specific occurrences, mental images that flash unbidden into consciousness, strong emotional reactions to potential futures, or intuitive knowledge about the outcomes of decisions. The key to developing waking precognition is learning to distinguish these authentic impressions from ordinary worry, wishful thinking, or mental projection. True precognitive awareness arrives with a quality of calm certainty, while mental speculation feels effortful and uncertain. As your precognitive abilities strengthen, you will face challenging decisions about how to use this knowledge. Should you warn others about potential negative events? Should you act on information about positive opportunities? How do you handle knowledge of events that seem inevitable? Ancient wisdom traditions taught that precognitive abilities come with great responsibility. The future you perceive is not fixed destiny, but probability. Your awareness of potential outcomes gives you the power and obligation to work toward the highest possible timeline for all concerned. Use your precognitive gifts not to gain unfair advantage, but to serve the welfare of others. If you foresee danger, offer gentle warnings without creating fear. If you perceive opportunities, share them generously. If you glimpse negative patterns, work to shift the collective consciousness toward more positive outcomes. Remember that the ultimate purpose of precognitive ability is not to control the future, but to align more perfectly with the divine plan unfolding through time. Your prophetic awareness allows you to serve as a conscious co-creator in the universe's constant evolution toward greater love, wisdom, and harmony. You are not just a body walking forward in time. You are a consciousness reaching through time, sculpting destiny with presence. And now that you see this, you're ready to activate another power, one that reveals just how much your hands can heal. Chapter 6. Energy Healing. Channeling the Divine Current. Your hands are not merely flesh and bone. They are sacred instruments designed to channel the universal life force that animates all existence. Every cell in your body pulses with this divine energy. Every breath you take carries its healing vibration, and every beat of your heart distributes its transformative power throughout your being. You were born to be a healer, not because of any special training or title, but because healing is the natural expression of love flowing through awakened consciousness. The life force that moves through you has been recognized by every spiritual tradition throughout history. The Chinese call it qi, the Indians know it as prana, the Polynesians name it mana, and the ancient Egyptians revered it as Sekum. This is not mere poetic metaphor. It is the literal truth of a measurable energy that can be directed through intention to restore balance, vitality, and wholeness. Modern science has begun to verify what healers have always known. The human body generates powerful electromagnetic fields that extend far beyond the physical form. Your heart alone produces an electromagnetic field 60 times greater in amplitude than your brain and 5,000 times stronger in magnetic field strength. When you align your consciousness with love and healing intention, these fields become therapeutic forces capable of profound healing influence. Energy healing operates on the principle that all illness, whether physical, emotional, or spiritual, represents a disturbance in the natural flow of life force through the human energy system. Your body contains multiple energy centers, chakras, pathways, meridians, and fields, auras, that must function in harmony for optimal health. When trauma, negative emotions, limiting beliefs, or toxic substances disrupt this energy flow, disease manifests in the physical body. But since the energetic disturbance always precedes the physical symptoms, healing directed at the energy level can often restore health before conventional medicine even recognizes that a problem exists. The healer serves as a clear channel for universal life force, allowing this energy to flow through their consciousness and into the recipient's energy field. The healer does not generate the healing energy. They merely facilitate its transmission from the infinite source to wherever healing is needed. In the ancient temples of Egypt, Greece, and India, healing was understood as a sacred art requiring not just technique, but spiritual alignment. The temple healers underwent years of purification and training to become clear vessels for divine energy. They knew that the healer's consciousness directly affected the quality and power of the healing transmitted. Your palms contain energy centers that can be activated to transmit healing force. These centers, known in various traditions as minor chakras or energy vortexes, naturally open when you cultivate the proper consciousness and intention. They respond to love, compassion, and the sincere desire to serve others' well-being. The most powerful healing energy flows not from your hands, but from your heart. Your heart chakra serves as the primary distribution center for divine love, the ultimate healing force in the universe. When you approach healing from a space of pure love and compassion, you become a conduit for miracles. This requires transcending the ego's desire to be seen as powerful or special. True healers understand that they are merely instruments in service to something infinitely greater than themselves. The healing occurs through them, not from them. This humility allows divine energy to flow without obstruction. Let me guide you through the foundational practice. Exercise the hands of light activation. Sit quietly with your palms facing upward on your knees. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your entire body to relax. Feel any tension melting away with each exhale. Visualize pure white light descending from above your head, entering through your crown chakra, and flowing down through your spine. See this light as the healing essence of divine love, carrying the perfect blueprint of health and wholeness. See this light branching into your arms and flowing into your hands. With each breath, feel your palms becoming warmer, more sensitive, more alive with healing energy. You may experience tingling, warmth, pulsing, or a sense of energy building between your palms. When this sensation stabilizes, slowly bring your palms together until they are about 6 inches apart. Feel the energy field between them. It may feel like holding a ball of warm light, experiencing magnetic resistance, or sensing a living presence between your hands. This is your healing energy made tangible. Practice expanding and contracting this energy field between your palms. Move your hands closer together and farther apart, feeling how the energy responds to your intention. The more real this becomes to your perception, the more powerfully it will affect others. This simple exercise, performed daily, will gradually activate your natural healing abilities. Once you've activated your healing hands and heart, you can begin practicing specific techniques. Start with yourself. Place your hands on any area of your body that needs healing and simply be present with loving intention. Don't try to force healing to occur. Simply create the conditions for natural healing to unfold. When working with others, always ask permission before touching them. Many healings can be performed effectively without physical contact by working in their energy field. Hold your hands several inches above the area needing healing and visualize divine light flowing through your palms into their being. Scan their energy field with your hands, noticing areas that feel dense, hot, cold, or somehow different from the rest. These often indicate energy blockages that need attention. You can clear these blockages by visualizing light dissolving the stagnant energy, or by making gentle sweeping motions with your hands to encourage energy flow. With the power to influence others' energy systems comes great responsibility. Never attempt to heal someone without their explicit permission. Respect their right to experience whatever they're going through, even if it appears to be suffering. Sometimes illness serves important purposes in a soul's evolution that you cannot understand. Always work for the person's highest good rather than imposing your ideas of what they need. Pray or set the intention that the healings serve their soul's growth and divine plan. Sometimes this means that obvious physical healing doesn't occur, but deeper spiritual healing takes place instead. Maintain strict confidentiality about anything you learn during healing sessions. People often share intimate details about their lives when receiving energy work, and this information must be held in sacred trust. Finally, remember that you are not responsible for the outcomes of your healing work. You provide the service, but the recipient's own consciousness ultimately determines how much healing they're ready to receive. Release attachment to results and trust that divine wisdom is operating through the entire process. As your healing abilities develop, you'll discover that the act of healing others simultaneously heals you. The love and life force that flows through you during healing sessions elevates your own consciousness and vitality. In serving others, you serve yourself. In healing others, you heal yourself. You are not the source. You are the bridge. And now that you've felt the current, you're ready for the next initiation, one that lifts the soul beyond the body itself. Chapter 7. Astral Projection. The Soul's Journey Beyond Form. You are not your body. This profound truth lies at the heart of astral projection, your consciousness ability to separate from physical form and explore dimensions beyond the material world. Every night during sleep, your soul naturally detaches from your body and journeys through astral realms, but in the morning you remember these travels only as dreams, if at all. Astral projection is the art of maintaining conscious awareness during this natural process, allowing you to explore the vast territories of existence that lie beyond the five senses. For thousands of years, mystics, shamans, and spiritual adepts have cultivated this ability as both a profound spiritual practice and a practical tool for gaining knowledge unavailable through ordinary means. They understood that consciousness is not produced by the brain, but merely focused through it, like light passing through a lens. When this focus shifts, consciousness can operate independently of physical limitations. The reality you perceive through your physical senses represents only a tiny fraction of what actually exists. Beyond this material realm lie countless dimensions populated by discarnate beings, spiritual teachers, and the consciousness of those who have passed from physical life. Through astral projection, you can access these realms, receiving teachings, healing, and insights that can profoundly transform your understanding of existence. According to esoteric anatomy, you possess not one body but several, each vibrating at different frequencies and capable of operating in corresponding dimensions. Your physical body exists in the material realm, but surrounding and interpenetrating it are your etheric body, the energetic blueprint, your astral body, the emotional and psychic vehicle, your mental body, the seat of thought and higher intellect, and several even more refined vehicles that connect you to divine consciousness. During astral projection, your consciousness transfers from the physical body to the astral body, a luminous, ethereal duplicate that shares your form but possesses remarkable properties. This astral vehicle can pass through solid matter, travel instantly to distant locations, and perceive realities invisible to physical sight. It remains connected to your physical form by what occultists call the silver cord, an energetic lifeline that ensures your safe return to normal consciousness. The astral plane itself consists of multiple levels or subplanes, each with its own characteristics and inhabitants. The lower astral regions closely mirror the physical world, but are populated by the thoughts, emotions, and desires of earthbound consciousness. The higher astral realms are domains of sublime beauty, spiritual learning, and communion with advanced beings who serve as teachers and guides for evolving souls. In ancient Egypt, the practice of astral projection was called the journey of the Ba, the soul bird that could leave the body and travel to other realms. Egyptian texts describe elaborate techniques for conscious separation, and many tomb paintings depict the Ba hovering above the mummified body, suggesting that this knowledge was considered essential for the afterlife journey. Every human being naturally experiences partial astral projection during sleep cycles. As your physical body enters deep rest, your astral body loosens its connection and begins to explore subtle dimensions. This is why sleep is essential for more than just physical restoration. It provides necessary nourishment for your soul through its nightly journeys in astral realms. Most people remain unconscious during these travels, experiencing them as dreams that often seem strange or symbolic because dream consciousness attempts to interpret astral experiences through the limited vocabulary of waking memory. But with proper training, you can maintain awareness during the transition from physical to astral consciousness, opening entirely new vistas of experience and learning. Here's the foundational technique for conscious separation. Exercise the gateway of departure. Begin your astral projection practice by developing awareness of the natural separation process that occurs during sleep. As you lie in bed each night, maintain gentle attention on your body while allowing it to relax completely. Notice the subtle sensations that arise as you approach sleep, the feeling of sinking, floating, or dissolving. Often, just before astral separation occurs, you'll experience what projectors call vibrations, intense energetic sensations that can feel like electricity running through your body, buzzing sounds, or waves of energy. These vibrations signal that your astral body is loosening from physical constraints. Instead of being startled by these sensations, welcome them as signs that projection is beginning. When vibrations reach their peak, gently imagine rolling out of your physical body like peeling off a second skin. Don't force the process. Use gentle will and clear intention. Visualize yourself sitting up while your physical body remains lying down, or imagine floating upward toward the ceiling. If successful, you may find yourself standing beside your bed, looking down at your sleeping physical form. This first glimpse of yourself from outside your body can be startling, but remain calm and focused. You are completely safe. The silver cord ensures you cannot become lost or stranded outside your body. Movement in the astral realm operates through mental intention rather than physical effort. To travel to a specific location, simply think of where you want to go and will yourself there. Distance has little meaning in astral dimensions. You can travel across the world or to other planets through focused intention. However, your astral experiences will be strongly influenced by your consciousness level and spiritual development. If you approach projection with fearful or negative states of mind, you're likely to encounter lower astral regions populated by thought forms created from humanity's fears and negative emotions. These can be unpleasant or even frightening, but they cannot actually harm you. Conversely, if you maintain elevated consciousness focused on love, learning, and spiritual growth, you'll naturally gravitate toward higher astral planes where you can encounter wisdom teachers, participate in healing work, and experience profound spiritual insights. Many projectors report meeting deceased relatives, spiritual guides, or advanced beings who provide teachings unavailable through ordinary channels. One of the most valuable aspects of conscious astral projection is the opportunity to receive direct instruction from spiritual teachers who exist primarily in subtle dimensions. These beings, sometimes called spirit guides, ascended masters, or wisdom keepers, have completed their earthly incarnations and now serve to assist those still developing in physical form. Before attempting astral projection, always establish spiritual protection through prayer, visualization of white light, or invocation of your spiritual guides. While you cannot be physically harmed during astral travel, negative entities in lower astral regions can create unpleasant experiences or attempt to frighten inexperienced projectors. Remember that astral projection is not an end in itself, but a tool for expanding consciousness and serving the divine plan. Use this ability to become a more effective instrument of healing, wisdom, and love in both the physical and spiritual dimensions of existence. Once you've touched the stars with your soul, you'll discover that objects around you hold secrets waiting to be read. Chapter 8. Psychometry. Reading the memory of objects. Every object you touch carries within it an invisible history, a complete record of every person who has handled it, every emotion that has been felt in its presence, every significant event it has witnessed. This information is not metaphorical but literal, stored in the object's atomic structure as vibrational patterns that sensitive consciousness can decode. This ability to read the psychic impressions held within physical objects is called psychometry, and it represents one of your most practical and immediately accessible psychic gifts. The phenomenon of psychometry demonstrates a fundamental truth about the nature of reality. Nothing exists in isolation. Every object, every location, every person exists within an interconnected web of energy and information. When you touch an antique ring, you're not just making contact with metal and stone. You're accessing a repository of human experience that may span generations. This ability emerges naturally as your psychic sensitivity develops. You may have already experienced rudimentary psychometry without recognizing it, feeling uncomfortable in certain locations, sensing the emotional residue in secondhand objects, or experiencing unexplained emotions when handling items with traumatic histories. These responses indicate that your consciousness is already detecting psychic impressions. You simply need to develop conscious control over this natural sensitivity. From the perspective of esoteric science, all matter consists of energy vibrating at different frequencies. These vibrational patterns can be altered by conscious intention, emotional states, and significant experiences. When a person handles an object while experiencing intense emotion, their energy field imprints upon the object's atomic structure, creating what psychical researchers call psychic residue. This residue accumulates over time, with the most emotionally charged events creating the strongest impressions. Objects that have been owned by the same person for many years become particularly rich repositories of psychic information, literally saturated with their owner's energy patterns. This explains why family heirlooms often feel so charged with significance. They carry the accumulated vibrational history of generations. Modern quantum physics provides a framework for understanding this phenomenon through the concept of morphic fields, informational patterns that can influence physical systems across space and time. The British scientist Rupert Sheldrake has demonstrated that patterns of experience can be transmitted through these fields, allowing later systems to access information from earlier configurations. In the mystery traditions of ancient Egypt and Tibet, psychometry was taught as a method for reading the Akashic records, the cosmic library where all experiences are stored. Adepts learn to tune their consciousness to specific vibrational frequencies, allowing them to access information from objects, locations, and even people from distant times and places. Psychometry requires a delicate balance between receptivity and discrimination. You must open your consciousness enough to receive subtle impressions while maintaining sufficient mental clarity to distinguish genuine psychic information from imagination or projection. This balance develops through patient practice and careful attention to the differences between authentic psychometric impressions and self-generated mental activity. Let me guide you through the foundational practice. Exercise the object-speaking ritual. Begin your psychometric training with objects that have clear emotional histories, antique jewelry, vintage photographs, or personal items that belong to deceased relatives. Choose objects that feel significant but not overwhelming to your sensitivity. Sit quietly in a space free from distractions and hold the object gently in your hands. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, allowing your mind to become still and receptive. Don't think about the object or try to analyze it intellectually. Instead, simply hold it while maintaining open awareness, like listening for distant music. Place the object against your forehead, over your third eye, or hold it against your heart center. Different people receive psychic impressions through different energy centers. Experiment to find what works best for you. Pay attention to any impressions that arise, images, emotions, physical sensations, or sudden knowings about the object's history. These impressions often feel different from ordinary thoughts. They seem to come from outside your usual mental processes and may surprise you with their specificity or emotional intensity. You might suddenly see flashes of scenes from the past, feel overwhelming emotions that aren't your own, experience physical sensations like temperature changes or tingling, or simply know things about the object's history without understanding how you know them. Record your impressions immediately after each session, noting even details that seem trivial or unlikely. Don't edit or analyze during the reception phase. Simply capture whatever comes through, no matter how strange or impossible it might seem. Later verification often confirms the accuracy of impressions that initially seemed doubtful. Practice this technique daily with different objects, gradually building your confidence in distinguishing genuine psychometric information from mental speculation. As your psychometric abilities develop, you'll discover that objects contain multiple layers of information, like geological strata recording different historical periods. Recent events typically create the strongest impressions, while older experiences may require deeper sensitivity to access. Some psychometrists learn to scroll through an object's history, accessing different time periods by shifting their consciousness to various vibrational levels. Others develop the ability to focus on specific types of information, emotional states, physical events, or the personality characteristics of previous owners. The most traumatic or emotionally significant events usually create the strongest psychic impressions. Objects present at deaths, accidents, or intense emotional crises often carry powerful residual energies that sensitive individuals can detect years or even decades later. Conversely, objects associated with great joy, love, or spiritual significance tend to emanate positive, uplifting vibrations. Your psychometric abilities extend beyond portable objects to locations themselves. Buildings, rooms, and outdoor spaces accumulate psychic impressions from the events and emotions they have witnessed. This is why certain places feel haunted, blessed, or emotionally charged even when their histories are unknown to visitors. Churches, temples, and other sacred spaces often feel peaceful and uplifting because they have absorbed countless hours of prayer, meditation, and spiritual aspiration. Conversely, locations where violence, suffering, or negative emotions have occurred may feel heavy, oppressive, or disturbing to sensitive individuals. Psychometric ability brings significant ethical responsibilities. When you can access information about others through their possessions, you become privy to intimate details about their lives that they may not have chosen to share. This knowledge must be held with the utmost respect and confidentiality. Never use psychometric abilities to violate others' privacy or to gain unfair advantage in personal or business relationships. When practicing psychometry with others' possessions, always ask permission first and explain what you hope to accomplish. Use your abilities only in service of healing, understanding, and the highest good of all concerned. Regular psychometric practice can sometimes result in absorbing negative energies from objects with traumatic histories. Develop habits of energetic cleansing to prevent accumulation of unwanted psychic residue. After each psychometric session, visualize bright white light flowing through your energy field, washing away any foreign vibrations. Remember that psychometric ability serves not only to satisfy curiosity about the past, but to bring healing and understanding to the present. Use this gift to help others connect with their heritage, resolve emotional conflicts, and gain deeper appreciation for the continuity of human experience across time. You have now learned to read the memory held in matter. Soon you will discover the ultimate power, one that makes you the conscious creator of all you experience. Chapter 9. Manifestation. Becoming a conscious creator. You are not a victim of circumstance, tossed about by forces beyond your control. You are a conscious creator, a divine being temporarily focused through human form, possessed of the same creative power that shaped galaxies and birthed universes. The only difference between you and the source from which you emerged is that you have temporarily forgotten your true nature. Manifestation, the ability to bring your desires into physical reality through the focused application of consciousness, is not a mystical technique, but your natural birthright as a creator being. Every moment of your life you are manifesting. Every thought, emotion, and belief is sending out vibrational signals that attract corresponding experiences. The question is not whether you can manifest, but whether you are manifesting consciously or unconsciously, deliberately or by default. Most humans manifest randomly, creating mixture of desired and unwanted experiences, because they have never learned to direct their creative power with precision and intention. The greatest masters throughout history understood this principle. They knew that consciousness is the fundamental creative force in the universe, and that by aligning their awareness with divine will and natural law, they could reshape reality itself. This is not supernatural. It is the highest expression of natural law, operating through consciousness that has remembered its divine origin. Manifestation operates according to precise universal laws that govern the relationship between consciousness and form. The first of these is the law of vibration. Everything in existence vibrates at specific frequencies, and similar frequencies attract each other. Your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs create your personal vibrational signature, which acts like a cosmic magnet, drawing experiences that match your energetic output. The law of correspondence states that your outer reality always reflects your inner consciousness. As above, so below. As within, so without. This means that changing your external circumstances requires changing your internal state. You cannot manifest lasting positive change in your life while maintaining negative thoughts, fearful emotions, or limiting beliefs. The law of assumption teaches that whatever you assume to be true about yourself, and your reality tends to become your experience. If you assume abundance is your natural state, you will find evidence of abundance everywhere. If you assume limitation and lack, these will dominate your experience. Your assumptions create the template through which you perceive and therefore experience reality. In the Hermetic traditions of ancient Egypt, manifestation was understood as the practical application of the principle that all is mind. The initiated priests learned to work consciously with thought forms, creating specific mental images charged with emotion and will that would then attract corresponding physical experiences. The Egyptian Book of Coming Forth by Day contains detailed instructions for using consciousness to navigate and create reality, both in this world and the next. These teachings recognized that human beings are sparks of divine consciousness, temporarily incarnated to learn the arts of creation through experience in form. Conscious manifestation involves 5 essential stages: desire, belief, visualization, emotion, and surrender. Each stage must be properly aligned for manifestation to occur with maximum speed and efficiency. Desire represents the initial creative impulse, your soul's recognition of what it wishes to experience or express. True desires arise from your authentic self rather than ego-driven wants based on fear, comparison, or social conditioning. The clearer and more aligned your desires are with your soul's purpose, the more powerfully the universe supports their manifestation. Belief provides the foundation upon which manifestation builds. You cannot create what you don't believe is possible. Limiting beliefs act like internal resistance, creating energetic static that interferes with the manifestation process. Identifying and transforming limiting beliefs is often the most important work in developing manifestation abilities. Visualization gives form to your desires in the mental realm. Through detailed, emotionally charged mental imagery, you create what occultists call thought forms, energetic patterns that serve as blueprints for physical manifestation. The more vivid and real your visualizations become, the more quickly they attract corresponding physical experiences. Emotion provides the creative power that animates your thought forms and propels them into manifestation. Feeling is the language of creation. When you can genuinely feel the emotions you would experience if your desire were already fulfilled, you align your energy field with the frequency of your desired outcome. Surrender involves releasing attachment to how and when your desires will manifest, trusting that divine intelligence will orchestrate the perfect timing and circumstances for their fulfillment. Attachment creates resistance, while surrender creates flow. The moment you truly let go, manifestation accelerates. Here's the foundational practice for conscious creation. Exercise the Creator's awakening. Each morning, perform this powerful manifestation meditation. Sit quietly in a space where you won't be disturbed. Light a candle to represent the divine light of creation working through you. Bring to mind one specific desire you wish to manifest. Choose something meaningful but not overwhelming to your current belief system. See this desire as already fulfilled in vivid detail. Engage all your senses in the visualization. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents associated with your fulfilled desire. Most importantly, generate the emotions you would feel if this desire were already your reality. Joy, gratitude, satisfaction, excitement, whatever emotions naturally arise when you imagine your desire fulfilled. Stay in this emotional state for at least 10 minutes, allowing the feeling to permeate every cell of your body. Feel yourself as the conscious creator you truly are, directing divine energy into specific forms through the power of focused intention. You are not begging the universe for something external. You are recognizing your identity as the universe expressing itself through individual awareness. End the meditation by offering gratitude for the fulfillment of your desire and releasing it completely to divine timing. Say internally, this or something even better now manifests for the highest good of all concerned. Then go about your day without anxiously checking for signs of manifestation or worrying about how your desire will be fulfilled. While manifestation involves working with unseen forces, it does not require passively waiting for desires to appear magically. The universe manifests through both metaphysical and physical means, often opening doors and creating opportunities that require your participation to fulfill. Pay attention to intuitive impulses, synchronicities, and opportunities that align with your desires. These are often the universe's way of showing you the steps to take toward manifestation. Take inspired action, action that feels guided and energizing rather than forced or desperate. The key is to act from faith rather than fear, from inspiration rather than desperation. When you take action from alignment with your highest vision, your efforts become magnetized with creative power. When you act from lack or limitation, your efforts often create more struggle without producing the desired results. As your manifestation abilities develop, you must grapple with profound questions of responsibility and purpose. The power to create through consciousness carries the potential for both great service and great harm, depending on the consciousness wielding it. Never attempt to manifest at the expense of others or in violation of their free will. The universe operates according to principles of harmony and justice, and manifestations based on selfishness or manipulation ultimately create karmic consequences for the manifestor. Focus your manifestation practice on desires that align with your soul's purpose and serve the highest good of all life. When your personal desires harmonize with divine will, you become a channel for cosmic creative power. When your desires arise from ego or separation, you work against universal flow and create resistance in your life. The highest expression of manifestation ability occurs when you transcend personal desires and become a conscious co-creator with divine intelligence. At this level, you no longer manifest for yourself, but allow the universe to manifest through you for the benefit of all existence. As you master the art of conscious manifestation, you will eventually arrive at the ultimate recognition. You are not learning to manipulate external reality, but remembering that you are the source from which all reality emerges. The universe is not separate from you. It is you in infinite extension. This recognition transforms manifestation from a technique into a natural expression of your divine nature. You no longer try to get things from the universe, because you understand that you are the universe temporarily focused through individual awareness. You are not just a human being learning to manifest. You are infinite consciousness learning to create through human experience. And now that you remember this, you hold the final key to your awakening. Conclusion: the fully awakened human. Here you stand, no longer the same person who began this journey of remembering. You have crossed the threshold from seeker to finder, from student to adept, from one who hoped for power to one who embodies it. The 9 sacred gifts that lay dormant within you have stirred to life, and you now walk the earth as a fully awakened human being, a bridge between heaven and earth, a living demonstration of consciousness clothed in form. Yet this is not the end of your journey, but its true beginning. You have not climbed a mountain to rest at its peak, but discovered that you yourself are the mountain, vast and eternal, with countless paths and possibilities extending in every direction. The powers you have awakened are not trophies to be displayed, but tools to be wielded in service of the greatest good. With the activation of your 9 spiritual gifts comes profound responsibility. You can no longer claim ignorance of your true nature or your power to influence reality. Every thought, word, and action now carries increased weight because you operate from an elevated level of consciousness. The universe responds more quickly to your intentions, making conscious mastery not just an option but a necessity. You have become what the ancient traditions called a knower, one who possesses direct experiential knowledge of spiritual truths rather than mere belief or faith. This knowledge brings both tremendous power and the obligation to use that power wisely. You can no longer harm others without harming yourself, because you now know experientially that all consciousness is one consciousness appearing as many. The awakened human serves as a beacon for those still sleeping, not through preaching or forcing but through simple presence. Your elevated frequency naturally uplifts those around you, creating ripples of awakening that extend far beyond your immediate circle. The challenge now is integration, learning to operate these 9 powers in harmony rather than as separate abilities. Telepathy informs your energy healing. Precognition guides your manifestation efforts. Intuition directs your astral travels. As these gifts work together, they create a symphony of consciousness that transforms both your inner experience and your outer effectiveness. You are part of a larger awakening occurring throughout humanity at this pivotal time in history. As more individuals remember their true nature and activate their dormant gifts, a new field of consciousness is emerging on Earth, one based on unity rather than separation, love rather than fear, cooperation rather than competition. You have not awakened these gifts by accident or for purely personal reasons. Your soul has been preparing for this moment across many lifetimes, gathering the wisdom and strength necessary to wield such abilities responsibly. You are here at this crucial time in human history because you have work to do, sacred work that only you can accomplish. Listen deeply to your inner guidance about how to use these abilities. Your intuition will lead you to the people, places, and situations where your gifts are most needed. Trust this guidance even when it leads you in unexpected directions. The universe has been orchestrating circumstances to support your mission long before you became consciously aware of it. As you move forward with your awakened gifts, remember that evolution never stops. These 9 powers represent your current level of development, not your ultimate potential. Stay humble, curious, and open to continued learning. Imagine a world where telepathic communication eliminates misunderstanding between nations, where clairvoyant leaders can perceive the long-term consequences of policy decisions, where intuitive guidance shapes educational systems that honor each child's unique gifts, where healing energy is as readily available as medical care, where precognitive abilities help prevent disasters and guide humanity toward its highest possibilities. This is not fantasy, but the emerging reality as more humans awaken to their true nature. You are a pioneer in this transformation, a prototype of what humanity is becoming. The gifts you've activated within yourself are seeds of the new world struggling to be born through the collective consciousness of our species. In the end, you will discover that all 9 gifts point to one ultimate truth. You are not a human being having a spiritual experience, but a spiritual being having a human experience. The powers you've awakened were never separate from you. They are expressions of what you have always been beneath the temporary forgetting that characterizes human incarnation. You are consciousness itself, temporarily focused through individual awareness for the joy of experience and the service of evolution. The gifts are not acquisitions but recognitions, not achievements but remembrances, not powers you gain but powers you are. Until that ultimate recognition dawns, walk gently on the earth with your awakened abilities. Use them in service of love, truth, and the liberation of all beings. You are a gift to the world, and the world is awakening to receive what you have to offer. The journey continues, and you are ready for whatever lies ahead.